Cam, we're live, baby.
All
Episode
right, Wolves.
7. The boys are back.
All right, Wolves. We are back, as Ward said, episode 7. I'm your host, Cam Taylor. Again, joined by my co-host, Ward Sewell. Today is May the 22nd, 2023. Ward, tell me about your weekend, man.
Dude, somebody needs to cue up the hangover. We are back. The boys are back. Dude, great weekend. Great weekend. I got to I would say shout out to my friend Dodge, shout out to my friend Brittany. Went to Greensboro and they had a little going away party. They're moving down to Florida. Both of them took two big jobs. So went to Greensboro, had a good time. And yeah, how was your weekend? I know you went and played some golf again, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good, man. First, I want to say congrats to our honorary Highlands Hooligans, Dodge and Brittany. That's on the big move. Their couple name is Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to play some golf, man. I broke 100 this time, so that was good. I shot low 90s, so we're getting better. Opened the pool up this weekend, man. So we've had a good weekend, and we've got some good basketball going on, and we'll touch on that later. But just today's show, we've got some NFL, one college football thing we'll touch on real quick, a lot of NBA playoffs. I don't think we have any college basketball to talk about. We've got two big UFC announcements. Some other sports, our Canes are down.
Canes are down bad.
But before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody, check us out on Spotify and YouTube. We're going to figure out Apple Podcasts one of these days.
Yeah, we ain't figured that one out too well yet.
Yeah, so find us on there, and then Instagram and TikTok at Fat Cats Pod. And before we get in the show, one piece of news that's not really sports, but Pat McAfee, in our space, in the media space, 4 years, $120 million deal with ESPN.
Yeah,
that gives us some hope for the future, Ward.
Not going to shout out Pat McAfee because he's a fellow competitor of us. You know, we're both on the big stage of Spotify. He's also a competitor on YouTube as well. But you know, Pat McAfee made it, man. He went white collar. He got paid 4 years, $120 million. I will say though, this about Pat McAfee. If anybody listens to our competitor Pat McAfee, which screw them, check the boys out. But if anybody listens to Pat McAfee, he doesn't have a filter on his show. You go on ESPN, he's not going to be able to say the same stuff he does, give the same reactions he does, the same opinions he does. So I'm curious to see how that turns out. But anyway, good for Pat. And Cam, I did want to touch on one more thing. I know you were talking about golf a little bit. I do have to let our listeners know, had an 80-yard chip in on Thursday this week or Wednesday this week, whatever day it was. Longest ever, second time I've ever done it. I was hype. I felt like Brooks Koepka yesterday winning the major championship after my chip in, but I shot like a 95. So without the chip in, man, I might have been 100. But let's get into it, baby. Let's have a podcast.
Well, first of all, congrats on that. You know, I've never had a chip in even close to that. I'm probably closer to not hitting the green on it from 80 yards than chipping one in. But you know, just to start out the show, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't touch on the late great Jim Brown passing away. Jim Brown was a first round draft pick in the 1957 draft. Played 9 years from 57 to 65 for the Cleveland Browns. Led the league in rushing 8 of those 9 years. Rushed for a total 12,312 yards in his career. 9-time Pro Bowler, 3-time MVP. Selected to the All 100 NFL all-time list. He's voted the greatest college athlete of all time. He lettered in 4 sports at Syracuse. He was known as a great civil rights activist after his career and an actor. Some of his movies, Any Given Sunday, He Got Game, and The Dirty Dozen.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Rest in peace to the legend, Jim Brown, the greatest Brown to ever live. And our thoughts and condolences go out to his family from the Fat Cats Pod.
Yeah, I think, Cam, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I will say rest in peace to the great Jim Brown. I will say too, you know, he made obviously he made a big impact on the football field, but outside the football field, he made another great impact just within society. So, Jim Brown, thank you for all you've done, and rest in peace.
Hard transition there for sure, but the biggest NFL news coming into the weekend is the NFL quarterbacks. We got 3 big quarterbacks up for extensions after Jalen Hurts just signed his huge deal to become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. We've got Burrow, we've got Herbert. outside looking in, we've got Tua, and then even further outside, we've got Love out there in Green Bay, all up for extensions. Ward, who's going to set the market first, and who's going to walk out the highest deal in NFL history?
I think whichever one gets it first, whichever either Burrow or Herbert, whichever one get that, figure out all the details with their agency and their team first and get that deal. They're going to reset the market, and then whichever one's next is going to reset the market again. So the market either by Joe Burrow is going to reset it first, just saying maybe, and then a week after Herbert's going to get the next one and he'll reset it. So I think Joe Burrow's obviously had a better career, and obviously Cincinnati is in love with Joe Burrow. He's from there. He's the face of the city. No comparison there, but so obviously he's going to get paid, but I think he should. I mean, same with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's been kind of a bust when it comes to the playoffs, but other than that, he's been a great regular season quarterback. Tua, I don't know, man. I want to hear your opinion on this. You think Tua deserves to get paid or not?
I think Tua deserves a hefty contract. I'm not saying he doesn't.
He's going to
He
get
should.
paid, dude. I mean, the way the quarterbacks are paid now, you're either getting this huge deal or you're not getting much. You're getting a 1-year deal. So I'm curious to see how it turns out.
To me, Tua is like a $18 to $20 million a year quarterback. The injury concerns more so than anything bother me, just because that guy's really one concussion away from maybe retiring from football.
Yep.
I think Burrow, there's no reason that guy shouldn't be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I think he's substantially better than Herbert. Even though I love Herbert, you know that he's one of my guys. But Joe Burrow has shown that he can lead a team in the playoffs with a bad offensive line. I love Joe Burrow. He's in my division. He's the king of Northern Kentucky. All my AFC North people will get that one. That's just my opinion. I would go Burrow, probably $1 or $2 million more than Herbert.
Yeah.
And then I would go Tua at probably 18 to 20 million. And I would be surprised if Love gets an extension, just because we haven't seen him play football yet. So that's kind of my hierarchy of quarterbacks going into extension time. Speaking of extensions for quarterbacks, just real quick, my man Mitch Trubisky is staying in the Berg for 3 more years. No, that's really just a big nothing burger to me.
Back up Mitch, baby.
Backup Mitch is back and in full effect. And then one more college football thing, just real quick. I want to give a shout out to my man Mark Stoops, Liam Cohen, and the big dog down in Lexington. They wrapped up a recruitment with the highest rated quarterback in Kentucky football history.
Really?
Hunter Bowley, the number 2 quarterback in the nation, 12th player overall in the nation, commits to the Katz this weekend. Shout out to those guys, man. I remember growing up being a Kentucky football fan. If we got a 3-star, we were excited. We were writing newspapers.
That's huge, dude. Congratulations.
So we're getting a borderline 4-star, the highest rated 4-star according to Rivals. Future of the program, man. So I just want to give a big shout out to those guys down in Lexington.
When does he come on campus?
He'll be in campus in January. So he's
okay. So he's after Devin Leary.
Yeah.
Okay, good for him, dude. That's huge. That's huge for y'all. Mark Stoops has done such a good job in Kentucky too. I know we talk about it all the time off air, and that's football season's a while away. We'll hop into it completely once football comes around. But Stoops is, completely night and day, turn that program around.
Yeah, I will donate my time to build the statue outside of Commonwealth Field when that time.
I think he probably has unless he really, really, really screws up outside of the football field, I think he pretty much has a lifetime contract with y'all.
Yep, I agree. He'll be Kentucky's coach as long as he wants to. But that's all we have for football. Yeah. Talking about the playoffs and the NBA. And first up, man, Miami Heat go up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics. Man, tell me about Jimmy Butler, because that's the story here.
Jimmy Butler, man, playoff Jimmy. We have 2. I know we talked about it earlier. We have 2, playoff Jimmy and then playoff Jamal. The 2 J's are going off, man. I don't know what's going on, but my brother, shout out to my brother. He's a big Celtics fan. Feel bad for you, Stone. I'm sorry, buddy, but y'all are getting y'all's asses beat right now. Game 4 in Miami, not looking good, but more so about Jimmy. I think this is kind of expected of Jimmy. I know a couple stats on Jimmy that is pretty cool. In the NBA, Jimmy's been one of the most successful players the last 4 years. You look at it, the 3 out of the last 4 years, he's been in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then two, I mean, obviously this year, I think he's going to win it. But, I mean, 2 out of the last 4 years, he's going to win the Eastern Conference Finals because assuming they win this year, which they should. And then there's a good chance that he has a chip this year too, man. I mean, Jimmy Butler comes out when the light shine bright, he plays. And, I mean, you can't ask for a better player than that. What do you think about Jimmy? Break down the stats for me.
Yeah, that's you know me very well, Ward, because that's exactly where I was going. We got 13 games in this playoff run. He's averaging 37 rebounds, 5.5 assists on 51% from the field, 36 from the 3-point line, and 80% from the free throw line. He's averaging 20 shots per. And according to the analytics, which you know I'm a big analytics guy, this is the third most clutch playoff run since they started accounting for the stat in 1997, only behind Ray Allen and Reggie Miller. I mean, this guy is insane. The rumors are starting to spread again. Is this guy Michael Jordan's long lost son? I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter.
I've seen the videos of that. That's hilarious, dude.
This guy's a hooper, man. I mean, through and through.
Yep.
If the lights are shining bright, give me Jimmy buckets, man. He is the guy. He's a dog on the defensive end. He's a great offensive player. And just touching more on the Heat as a team, Bam has finally showed up.
Oh my God, I was literally about to say that. I was like, shout out to, I mean, Bam Adebayo is playing great. You watch them play with him on the board or with him on the court versus him not. I mean, dude, it's night and day. He's playing great and he's stepping up.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no reason that Bam shouldn't be averaging 24 and 12. We've talked about it many times, but also the role players stepping up. You know, I told you guys last episode, one of my best friends is a Knicks fan, so I watched that entire series.
Mm-hmm.
You watch Duncan Robinson, you watch Caleb Martin, you watch
Gabe State boy.
You watch all these guys, and you're like, there's no way that they can play like this for 7 games. These dudes have played like this for an entire playoff.
They're playing great, man. And you know who I think a lot of that's credit to too, and this doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. Eric Spoelstra, man, he's doing a hell of a job in Miami. He's I think he may be he's the top 3, maybe even number 2 or top 2 coach in the NBA right now. I mean, you look at how long he's been there, you look at the success, and not even that, look at what he's had to deal with. Obviously, he had LeBron, Wade, Bosh. Hard not to be good with them. After they left, dude, Miami was nothing, man. He has rebuilt them twice from the bottom up. So, I mean, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I think coaching right now between Miami and Boston has a huge significance when you look at the way these teams are playing. But I don't know. Shout out to old Eric.
Yeah, talking about the role players, I want to give a shout out to Max Strus as well. I left him out, but yeah, man, Spo's the guy. Heat culture is real.
Yeah,
and
ESPN made an Instagram post about it today.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. The undrafted guys that they get to become like actual really good role players is insane to me. But kind of moving on,
too, man.
Joe Mazzulla is getting the full Miami Heat culture experience right now. Joe Mazzulla, first-year head coach for the Celtics. They had a good season. Like, it's not been a bad season, but the post-game quotes have been kind of getting out of line, talking about how he doesn't have the guys ready to play. Like, dude, this is the Eastern Conference Finals. You guys were in the finals last year. These guys should be ready to play ball.
Put up or shut up, man. I mean, and 2, I don't know. I mean, even speaking on that a little bit, I don't know if Jason Tatum's lack of success in the fourth quarter. First 3 quarters, he plays great, man. And then fourth quarter, I don't know if that has to do with coaching. I don't know if that has to do with matchups or what. But I know the Celtics, I saw something today, and you'll have to fact check me on this. I believe they've had 4 or 3 coaches in the last 4 years. And if you have that many head coaches in that short period of time, I mean, that's Washington Commanders for you right there. But it's not a recipe for success. It's not a good thing, obviously. So they have the talent, man. I mean, the Celtics obviously have the talent. I think it has a lot to do with coaching, too. They balance each other out.
If you watch in the fourth quarter, just to your point, you watch Jason Tatum become a screener more than anything in the fourth quarter. It doesn't make sense to me. You've got one of the probably top 5 NBA players right now currently, and you're using them on ball screens and having them float on the perimeter. That guy should have the ball in his hands every time down the floor. He doesn't. Marcus Smart has the ball in his hand more than anybody. I mean, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Those guys should be getting 10 to 15 shots in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
That's just me. Every time the shot should come from them every time down the floor unless somebody's wide open.
Yep.
That's got to be on Missoula because he's the one calling the plays.
Mhm.
But that kind of brings us to our next point. Do you think this is the end of the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown era?
It's just the thing is, obviously Jason Tatum is the one with that team. Jaylen Brown made first team or second, was it first team? I think it was second team All NBA this year. Because he made that puts him eligible for that max contract or the super max contract, whatever it is. The thing is, I don't know if the Celtics are going to want to pay a number 2 player the type of money they will have to pay Jaylen Brown. Somebody's going to pay him in the NBA. So one of these 32 market teams are going to pay him. And so my question is, I don't know, man. I think it could. I know they have the cap. So I think they could do it, but it just depends on if the Celtics want to actually pay a number 2 player number 1 money.
I think Jaylen Brown can be a number 1 in this league. That's just me.
Oh, absolutely. Hell yeah, he can.
He's one of the best two-way players in the league, and you put him and Tatum, you've got two of probably the top 3 or 4 two-way wings in the league. Both can go get their own shot. I think it's more of a team building around them. You've got Marcus Smart, who wants to be a ball-dominant guy. It doesn't make sense to me.
No.
You've got Al Horford, who's dead set on taking 9 threes a game.
Yeah.
I think you kind of get rid of this core. I mean, the role players around them are not made to be successful. You've got Grant Williams, who is a 4. He's a 6'6" 4, but he can't guard the 4. He has to guard
and
the 5.
He's talking shit to Jimmy Butler, and that's the wrong person you want to piss off in the playoffs. But you do you, Grant.
Grant Williams is approaching Dylan Brooks level. But, I mean, you've got a guy who's 6'6" and can't guard the 4. You've got Rob Williams, who gets hurt, but when he's on the court, he's special. If you keep those 3 guys and build around them, I think that this is a title contender, given you have the right coach, obviously. But a trade I could see, I mean, there's only really one trade that makes sense. You're not going to trade Jaylen Brown for young guys and picks because that does nothing for you. You're right back where you were 3 years ago. The only trade that makes sense to me is if Dame wants to leave Portland. And I'm not going to believe Dame wants to leave Portland until I see it. We've been hearing for
He's had every opportunity. He ain't done it yet. So
the past 3 offseasons, I've heard Dame's getting shopped for a star. And then you got to look at the Trailblazers for that. You end up with Jaylen Brown, who's a 2 guard, Anthony Simons, who's a 2 guard, and Shaedon Sharpe, who you just spent your 7th pick on, who's a 2 guard. I mean, you're not running 3 2 guards in the NBA. So the trade that would have made sense is Kevin Durant, and you didn't go get him. So to me, you're kind of stuck in no man's land, and I take Jaylen Brown over 3 young guys and 2 draft picks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more there.
But moving on to the next series, Denver Nuggets move up 3-0 on the Lakers, 119 to 108. Jamal Murray with a masterclass 37, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Jokic, 24.6 rebounds, 8 assists. And then you get KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, and Michael Porter Jr. combining for 46 points. This Nuggets team looks unstoppable right now. They do.
And if you asked me this last week when we recorded this podcast, it was right before the NBA play or the NBA Eastern and Western Conference Finals. If you told me a week from now that what's it called would be up 3-0 on the Lakers, that the Nuggets be, I'd tell you you're full of crap. But can't believe it, man. Yeah, they are. These guys are playing. This is the hottest team in the NBA right now by far. Obviously, the Heat are playing good, but this team they're shooting. What's it, 60% from 3-point land or 65% from 3-point land? That's unheard of, man. And I don't know, dude. I mean, they're playing great. Jokic is playing great. Jamal's playing great. What do you have to say? What do you think?
Yeah, man. I don't really have much to say on the Lakers. Just real quick, get some stats out of the way. LeBron, 23, 7, and 12, and AD, 28 and 18. And Austin Reeves, 23, by the way. I don't want to leave that out. But I want to talk about the Nuggets, man, though. I don't want to talk about the Lakers because
you got to give respect where respect's due, man. All the media does. The media is Lakers, 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 Lakers. This Nuggets team has been overlooked all season. They're 1 seed. They've been overlooked all season. I mean, I don't know.
And I mean, they've got the best player in ball right now. They got Jokic cooking, Jamal Murray. I don't know what happens when playoff time comes around, but man, this guy becomes clutch. He becomes a number 1 level scorer, and he makes every big shot imaginable. Watching him, I don't know if you picked this up, Ward. I've never seen this in my life. In the crunch time of that game when the Lakers came back and it was a close game, Jamal Murray, the point guard, was setting screens for Jokic, the
Yeah.
five. Man, that was so fun to, and
Unheard of.
they have AD on Jokic, which AD, I love you, bro, but you've been barbecue chicken, bro. That man has been eating you up. But you've got a point guard setting screens for a center, and they're playing two-man game, a two-man action off of a center. We've watched Jokic all these years. I still can't believe that this dude is a 7-foot center making some of these plays he makes.
Jokic is arguably. Go ahead. Oh, well, Jokic.
I was just going to say, man.
Jokic is undoubtedly. Me and Cam have a little bit of communication issues, as we are on Zoom. But I think Jokic is undoubtedly the best. Obviously, hands down, the best player in the NBA right now. 2 out of the past 3 NBA MVPs. You see the way he's playing in the playoffs against AD, who AD is a dog too. And then Jamal Murray, man, not sure what's going on with him. I know for all you Jamal Murray fans out there, there's him. Jamal Murray does some stuff outside of the basketball court, but hey, him and his wife like to do some stuff at home and take some videos. But hey, whatever you want to do. So for all you Jamal Murray fans out there that know about some of the videos that are out there on the internet, there must be some of that going on at home right now, because Jamal Murray was not like this during the regular season, and then playoff Jamal Murray just comes out the cut. So Jamal Murray's wife, whatever you're doing at home, you might win him a ring. So keep doing you.
I'm going to glaze over top of that. No pun intended. Jamal Murray, we talk about playoff Jamal Murray. 3 playoff appearances, 47 games. He averages in the playoffs 25 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on 47, 41, 90 splits. This guy's insane, but what I really want to talk about, and this is kind of getting talked about a little bit, where's Jokic to you? If they get this ring, which it looks like they are, I mean, I love Jimmy Butler, I love Bam. This team is insanely good when they're hitting at all levels. If Jokic wins a ring, where is he at for you? Just centers. I mean, you've got Kareem.
In the league or all time?
All time. You've got Kareem, you've got Wilt, you've got Bill Russell, Shaq, Hakeem, Moses Malone, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. He's in the echelon with those guys. I just don't know where he goes with those guys.
He is. I think it's a little too early to jump gun on that yet. He's young. I mean, he's still young, and he's won 2 MVPs. He might win a championship after this year. If this play continues, if we're having this conversation at this time next year at the same thing, you got to remember how stacked the West is, man. It's hard to do this consistently in the West. So I don't know. I think it's a little too early to jump gun on that. You could speak on it a lot higher than I can, but give it a few more years.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's obviously too early now because his career's not over. I'm just thinking, like, if he wins this championship and retires today, you've got a seemingly finals MVP, 2-time MVP, the greatest passing center we've ever seen, analytically the greatest offensive center we've ever seen. And I mean, and just to speak of how great of centers we've had in this game, he's still 6 to me. I mean,
yeah,
you've got Kareem at 1, Wilt, Russell 2, 3, whichever way you want to put it.
Yeah.
Jack 4, and then Hakeem is 2-time MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, wins. I mean, Jordan wasn't there.
Yep.
If you want, but 2-time champ in the middle of Jordan's era. And then you've got guys like Moses Malone, Patrick Ewing, and David Robinson, who are surefire. I mean, already in the Hall of Fame, but some of the greatest centers to ever play the game. And just to have your name mentioned with these guys is.
Oh, no, you're right.
I'm glad that we get to watch it because I don't know. I've never met anybody that hates Jokic. Have you?
A couple people don't. I know some people I work with, because of all the stuff with him in the Heat and Morris when he hit him in the back. So I know a lot of people that don't like him. I think I like watching him play. You know, I always pull for the Americans over the foreign guys because I'm American and USA. But yeah.
One thing on Jokic, and then we'll move on. Jokic is fun for me to watch because I can watch him and say, dude, if I was 7 foot, I could play in the NBA. That dude does stuff that you see like 6-year-old men do at the YMCA with the crazy passes.
Oh, yeah, man.
But I mean, just
I know the
incredible.
way he moves his body. He's so quick, dude, and he's so big. I know I watched him. AD was guarding him. He's in the post, and he's doing spin moves and then turning around and dunking the ball. The dude's 290 pounds or 280 pounds, and he's moving like a damn running back.
Yeah, Ward, tell me more about how he moves his body.
Yeah,
Moving, moving on, just real quick on that, and then we'll get into some more NBA stuff. Who do you think's more likely to get swept, the Lakers or the Celtics?
dude, I honestly have no idea, man. The way the Celtics looked last night, or the way they looked yesterday, they got beat. Or was it 2 days ago? Wait, but the way they looked in Game 3, dude, they got beat. They got killed, man. They looked awful. And the Lakers, I will say, the Lakers are putting up a fight. They're getting beat, but they're putting up a fight. They're playing a 4-quarter game. The Celtics, it almost looks like after halftime yesterday, it looks like they gave up. So I don't know, dude. They're in Miami. I mean, I think I'd say the Celtics have a better shot at getting swept at this point because they're playing in Miami. The Lakers are at least playing at home. So I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. That was going to be my point. I'm going to give the nod to the Heat just because they're in South Beach,
Yeah.
and the Lakers at home are still one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
I think the Nuggets were 19-22 on the road this season, so I mean, there's hope. Now, do I think? Am I saying Lakers in 7? Hell no.
If you were to bet, if you had to put $100 bet down on one of these teams coming back and winning and taking the series, who would you put money on?
Lakers for sure, because the Lakers, like you
Oh,
said, Lakers because they haven't
of
quit.
just the people there that are on their team.
Well, I mean, they haven't quit. I mean, I watched the Boston Celtics last night quit during a basketball game.
Yeah.
And I mean, even Shaq and Chuck talked about it. Gabe Vincent did the post game with them, and they asked Gabe Vincent about closing it out in Miami, and he goes, they're a tough team. They play hard. They don't quit, and they're well coached. And
Yep.
Chuck starts laughing. He goes, "You must have not watched the game tonight." He said, talking about well coached and don't quit, man. You must have stopped watching after the second half. But I mean, I wouldn't put money on either one of these teams to come back just because I think the Nuggets are so good, and I think the Celtics are in that much disarray at the moment.
Yeah.
We didn't get a touch on it last go around because it hadn't happened yet. The NBA lottery results come back. The top 5 is as followed: San Antonio Spurs at 1, our Charlotte Hornets at 2, Portland Trailblazers at 3, Houston Rockets at 4, and Detroit falls all the way to 5. They're tied to have the best odds for 1, and they fall all the way to 5. And
It's crazy.
Another storyline just to look at real quick: the Mavs keep their pick at 10. The reason that's kind of important is that pick was sent to the Knicks as a top 10 protected pick in the Porzingis trade. The Mavs sat Kyrie and Luka the last 3 games and lost all 3 games. Got fined for tanking. A lot of people thought that, a little fixed job by the NBA was going to be in and they would slide to 11. So the Knicks got that pick, but the Mavs keep their pick at 10. And just talking about that, I know I've got some prospects I really like in this draft. And I know you have at least one that you want to talk about. So
Yep.
go ahead and tell me about Scoot Henderson, Ward.
Scoot Henderson, that's my boy. I think Scoot Henderson's going to be the next great for the Charlotte Hornets. It's going to be him and Ball, and then I think it's going to be the third one that's going to be followed up with them two is Dylan Brooks. I think that's going to be you're looking the future of the Charlotte Hornets there. But not man, the Scoot. I don't know much about the prospects. I haven't followed it too hard. You know a lot more than I do. I know the Scoot Henderson guy. I watched some of his highlights from when he was in high school, and I don't know. I think he's pretty good. He's explosive. He hasn't played in college yet. He's in the G League right now. So yeah, I know there's a little bit of controversy there, but I don't know. He's my obviously number one is that French guy is he. I think he's the best player generational wise. He has a chance to be generational talent, but Scoot Henderson's definitely my number 2.
Yeah, and I've looked at a lot of mocks. I want Scoot to go to Charlotte. I think that him and LaMelo Ball would be electric.
Yeah,
Henderson
kind of Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, he can kick rocks. He better learn it. He better brush up on his Chinese because that's where he's. Scoot, shades of D Rose, shades of Russell Westbrook. I'm not going to say he's going to be an MVP of this league, but just his play style. He's the fourth guy to go straight from high school to the G League Ignite team. Like Ward said, he skipped college. I love Scoot Henderson, but I've seen a lot of mocks having Brandon Miller out of Alabama going to the Hornets. I like Brandon Miller.
He's good, dude.
6'9". He's listed as a small forward. He's got point guard skills. You watch it. I mean, go watch Alabama last year. He played the 2 guard for him a lot.
Did Kentucky ever beat him or not this year?
They only played once, I believe, and I think he had like 30 once. So he could light it up from 3. The struggles getting to the rim are kind of concerning, but a lot of great prospects who are great shooters have had that problem.
Do you think there's allegations about him, with the car and giving the gun to that person? Do you think that will hold him back from his draft stock at all? Or I think at this point it won't either.
Everything about that's been cleared and dropped. He's not in any legal trouble with that whatsoever. A lot of NBA teams have done their due diligence looking at that, and he's still number 2 on a lot of draft boards, 2 or 3. He's not making it out of the top 3. So I don't think that has anything that'll hinder him.
Yeah.
2 more prospects I really like are the Thompson twins from Overtime Elite, both wings, 6'6", 6'7", Amin and Asar. I wanted them to go to Kentucky real bad when they were coming out of high school. They ended up going to Overtime Elite to play professionally. Those 2 are really good. I think those are probably the 4th and 5th best prospects in the draft. Cason Wallace, a guy from Kentucky, shades of Drew Holiday, just a 2-way stopper. And one more guy I really like, and he's going to be a back-end lottery guy, is Jalen Hood-Schifino. He's from Charlotte. He went to Indiana. He's a 6'6" point guard. He's got good ball skills, can shoot the ball. Some defensive concern, but 6'6" with that wingspan, I think he's going to be a good ball player. But those are really the only guys that I kind of have an eye on, really. As much college basketball as I watch, it's mostly just Kentucky games. So if guys play Kentucky, I'll have an eye on them. But other than that, I'm not an NBA scout by any means. So that's kind of our Fat Cats NBA draft preview, I guess. We're not going to go deep like we did with the NFL. Moving on to our next NBA point, kind of going along with the draft. There's some rumors that the Blazers are shopping the 3rd overall pick in hopes to get a superstar beside Dame. Ward, what do you think about that?
Yeah, honestly, Cam, I hear stuff about Portland every offseason. They're going to get rid of somebody. They're going to bring in a superstar to help Dame. They're going to get rid of Dame. Dude, I have no idea what they're going to do, man. This team, it's a flip of a coin what they're going to do. I will believe it when I see it, whatever they do.
I'm on the same plane as you. When they do something, I'll talk about it. The Blazers, to me, are a lot like how Ben Simmons was a few years ago. Yep. Is he going to play? Is he going to play? I will talk about then Ben Simmons and now the Blazers making a move in the offseason when they do it.
I see it.
I've spent so much time thinking about, well, if Dame goes here and they trade this and this for that, and then I just watch Dame get bounced as the 8th seed every year, which is unfortunate. It feels like they're wasting a great talent in Dame, just not building around him properly. That's all I have on the Blazers. Any Blazers fans that are listening, I'm sorry that you had to listen to that. Because
you know any Blazers fans?
No, I do not. I work with 2 guys from Portland, and they're not even Blazers fans.
Yeah, so. Not many Blazers fans out there.
Last thing, basketball, and then we'll kind of get into some other topics. NBA great Carmelo Anthony has officially announced he's retiring. He didn't play this year, but just a great career, 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. He was the 2012-2013 scoring champ. He was 2003-04 All-Rookie team. The only player in NBA history to win every Rookie of the Month and not win Rookie of the Year. Shout out
to
him.
Who won it over him?
Ron,
that's what I thought.
And then lastly, NBA All-75 team. He's one of the 75 greatest NBA players to ever step on a court. Career 22-point per game scorer. I think he's 7th all-time on the scoring list. I could be wrong on that, but shout out to Melo, man. I remember him with the Nuggets. That Carmelo Nuggets satin blue jersey went triple platinum in Louisville, Kentucky when I was watching him. New York Knicks legend, and then kind of bounced around his last few years. But I want to give a big shout out to Carmelo because when I think of basketball when I was growing up, he's one of the guys I think of.
He's one of the OGs.
Enjoy retirement. I know his son is kind of coming up on the basketball scene, so I'm sure we'll see him with that. But I don't have anything further to say than enjoy your retirement and thanks for all the memories, Melo.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Shout out Oak Hill. They produced Carmelo. So
keep an eye out. A movie about him and LeBron James will be dropping soon. I'm not sure on the name, but keep an eye out.
That's cool.
You owe me some reverb on that, Carmelo, for the shout out on the Fat Cats. We'll take a cent to the dollar.
Yeah. Or just reshare us on Instagram, man. So maybe some of your followers can check us out.
But that's all we have on NBA. Moving on, 2 huge cards got announced by Dana White, UFC. 291 will headline Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, co-main Jan versus Alex Pereira. We've got Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, Paulo Costa's on the card, Stephen Thompson's on the card, Derek Lewis is on the card, Kevin Holland is on the card. I mean, this is stacked to the gills. I'm excited. I will be paying for this fight, Dana. Don't stream over here at Katz. We pay for our fights like true Americans. Shout out to Dana White. Ward, just let me know what you got to say about that card.
The cards are ridiculous, but I thought Dana White is. I'm a huge UFC fan. I think all the Bellator and the PFL, one championship, all that, they're just UFC's up here, they're down here, and I think it's so funny. You know, all the negotiation process when Francis Ngannou trying to get him back in the UFC to fight John Jones. Francis is being hard headed, wants too much, demanding too much. So Dana's like, all right, go kick rocks, and then Francis Ngannou announces that he's going to join PFL and he's going to be the next face of their league or whatever. He's going to be their next headline fighter. 2 hours after he announces, Dana White comes out and drops 2 bombs, 2 of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. One of these pay-per-views, 291, the Dustin Poirier Justin Gaethje card. That's one of the best pay-per-view matchups I've personally ever seen. So, yeah, Dana White dropped a bomb. I think it's pretty cool. I love UFC. I really like Dana White. I think he's the best promoter in the fight game. But, yeah, 291, Cam, we will definitely get together for that one, my friend. And we will not stream it. We'll buy it. We'll support the boys and support old Uncle Dana.
Real quick, 292, we just confirmed 2 fights. It's going to be the bantamweight title fight, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley, and then the women's strawweight title with Zaway and Amanda Lemos. That's a good card, obviously. But 291 is where it's at. I don't know if you saw this, Ward. Francis Ngannou, Le'Veon Bell himself, he had a higher offer from the UFC than what he signed with PFL for. The details came out.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
After all that, he's going to get paid less than he would have to fight in the biggest.
You have got to be. But I think he has partial ownership takes or something like that with the PFL. Or partial, I don't know what it is. It was something where it's like he makes money off of his name that the UFC wouldn't give him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but
I would say having partial ownership in PFL is about like having partial ownership in the Fat
Cat. And I think too, you know, I'm personally a big John Jones fan. John Jones is one of my favorite fighters of all time. And, you know, I think UFC has a hierarchy over PFL and all these other leagues. I think John Jones would absolutely scorch Francis Ngannou. So that's the conversation for another day. But yeah, we won't ever see it now. So.
Well, I think Francis is probably happy about that. He'll be able to fight brain dead guys for $2 million.
Oh, I think both of them are happy. I think both of them are happy they don't have to fight each other.
Yeah, I'd say John would much rather fight Stipe right now than but that's all the UFC news that we have. And then just moving on to some other sports real quick, and then we'll get into Pet Peeve of the Week and Full Plate Empty Stomach. Canes go down 2-0 at home to the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Ward, I know you've been to at least one game, maybe both. What does our scout have to say about the game so far?
The Canes are hurting right now, man. So for our listeners out there, I have a little story. So game 1 I took my girlfriend on Thursday night, and we actually got free tickets. Funny story, I signed up on O2 Fitness in Raleigh posted a Facebook link saying sign up for your chance to win free tickets. I signed in all my girlfriend's information because I didn't want them to blow me up with emails. So I put all her information in. Next thing you know, at 3 o'clock on Thursday, she's getting calls and texts saying you won tickets. She thinks it's a scam. And I'm like, Madison, you better claim those. You better claim those. And then I thought they were going to be seats up top. They ended up being seats 10 rows behind the ice. They were $400 tickets. And yeah, went to the game. The game one went into 4 overtimes. The game actually did not end until 2 a.m. I personally didn't make it after the first overtime. I started yawning and it was a little past my bedtime. But yeah, kind of long story short, not sure what's going on with the Canes. We are down 0-2. We have lost both games in overtime, and the Panthers have one guy on their team, the Florida Panthers, that is very, very good. He's actually one of the candidates to win the NHL MVP this year, and he has put us out both games in overtime. So he has a very long foreign name, so I'm not even going to try to say it. But yeah, man, Canes aren't looking too good. We have a must-win tonight. We go to Florida. We have to take game 2 or game 3 or we're screwed.
I gotcha. I mean, as you know, I'm not a huge guy, so that really does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I want to give a huge shout out, and this guy could be a full play, but we thought he deserved his own segment today. Michael Bloke, Club Pro, takes 15th in the PGA Major this weekend. Hole in one yesterday on 15, which that's kind of fitting. 15th, got a hole in one on 15. I mean, the dude's living out everybody's dream. Club Pro, just a regular guy, goes in and gets a PGA Tour card, man. How awesome.
It is awesome. I don't know if you saw any of the videos of that. He actually won 4 times the salary. He's a club pro, and he is a trainer, or not a trainer. He gives private lessons, and he won. I'm not sure what the payout was, but it ended up being 4 times what his salary is. So good for him, man. He actually got signed on. He has another chance to go prove himself in a tournament next weekend. He is, for all our golf fans out there, he's a huge Jon Rahm fan. Jon Rahm's his favorite golfer. And yesterday he found out 2 days ago he found out he was 6 strokes up on Jon Rahm, and he broke down crying at the media. So I don't know. Good for him. Happy for him. He's living out all our dreams. Exactly. But yeah.
And one last shout out on that, our boy Brooks Koepka, friend of the show.
Yep.
He wins his 3rd PGA championship. I think it was his 6th or 7th major.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Brooks, man. Killing the game. He went to live, and a lot of people thought, maybe this guy's probably not going to make a run anymore. But, I mean, the guy's young. He's winning majors, and I just want to give a huge shout out to Brooksy. I've always liked Brooksy from the DeChambeau kind of thing with the rivalry there. But shout out to him. Huge win.
Good for Liv, too, dude. Liv Golf's making a name for themselves.
Yep. Very fun weekend of golf.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to move into Ward's big time subject, pet peeve of the week. Ward, go ahead and start us off.
Pet peeve of the week, Cameron. Let's hop right into it, my friend. So my pet peeve of the week this week is actually going to be MFers who walk slow. And the reason why I'm saying this, I'm going on a cruise on Thursday, and I'm going to the airport on Wednesday. I don't fly much. I'm scared of airplanes. Every time I go to the airplane or to the airport, I'm trying to get to my flight, and there's these mother effers that walk so slow, and you're stuck behind them, and you can't move around. So there's so many people, you just want to kick their bag up from under them. But yeah, my pet peeve of the week is mother effers who walk slow. So if that's you, speed it up, bud.
Yeah, I've been there before. You're running about 10 minutes late for a flight, and you got 2 people lollygagging down the tarmac.
Got places to be.
My pet peeve of the week is people who text in group chats after 1 a.m. Like, bro, we're all grown ups. We have jobs. Stop texting the group chat at 1 a.m., bro.
So
like,
what group chat did this happen in?
A bunch of my high school friends have a group chat, and we're all the same age. We all have jobs. And it's not like that the NBA is ending at 2 a.m. now. Like, these games end at 11:30. Like, do not text the group chat after 1 a.m. I had to put do not disturb automatically on my phone to turn on at 1 a.m. because and it's the same guy. Out of nowhere, just like put this insane sports scenario in the group chat just to talk. It's like, bro, go to sleep. You have to wake up at 8 a.m. to go to work tomorrow. But that's my pet peeve of the week. Real quick, we'll get full plate, empty stomach. Ward, go ahead. Let me hear these guys.
I'll go ahead and hop right in. My full plate for the week, and again, shout out to Cam for coming up with this segment, but my full plate's going to be Jamal Murray, and for all the reasons we discussed earlier, you look at his statistics, playoff Jamal is coming out, and he's balling out, and he has an opportunity to he pretty much has it locked to win the Western Conference, but he has an opportunity to be a NBA champion after this year. And then my empty stomach of the week is actually NBA referee Scott Foster. I don't know if you saw any pictures of a referee with a bloody face yesterday. Yeah, it's him. This man, LeBron, is what, 6'9", 260? You see somebody that big running, you get the hell out of their way. You don't stand there, buddy. That's what's going to happen. LeBron was the bull, and this guy was somebody else. And when you get in the bull's way, you get knocked out. So if you see any bloody faces of a referee, it's him. That's my empty stomach. Get the hell out of LeBron's way when he's coming after you.
I think what Ward meant to say is if you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant to say, and I messed it up. You know what I mean, though, man.
Either way, I think everybody that listens knows Ward's, sayings can kind of get messed up. But you guys know what he's saying. I know what he's saying. I don't know if you saw the video of that, Ward, afterwards. LeBron comes up and apologizes, and Austin Reeves is in the background and goes, "Yo, you got to team up for that. You got to team up for that." and Scott Foster looks at him and goes, "You've been wanting to do that for 25 years, haven't you?"
That's pretty cool. I didn't see that. That's really cool.
My full plate is a YouTuber. Go check him out. It's Bob Does Sports. He does golf content, man. He's great. He just did a video with Josh Allen. Josh Allen wore his merch on his interview with Good Morning Football. Probably reached 1 to 1.5 million people. So full plate. Big shout out to Bob Does Sports. Have a day, young man, as he would say. And my empty stomach is D'Angelo Russell. He's been horrible this series. Horrible. He had 3 points in game 3, and Darvin Ham can't even play him. He played 18 minutes in game 3. D'Lo's on a contract year. He's looking to get paid, and he's not going to do it playing like this. But that is our show for the day. Like I said earlier, check us out on Spotify and YouTube. Just type in the Fat Cats Podcast. That's KATZ. Check us out on the socials. We've got Instagram and TikTok at Fat Cats Pod. And that's all I have. We do have some interview updates. We're working on getting some guys. With it being football season kind of coming up and OTAs and stuff, it's kind of hard to schedule. But we will keep you guys posted once we get a time for these interviews we've got coming up. But that's all I have. Ward, you got anything to say?
You nailed it on the head, Cam. Great podcast. I think all of our listeners, one, subscribe, tell a friend, tell another friend, send it to 3 people. But y'all go check out the Instagram. Cam's doing a heck of a job. I know I give Cam shout outs all the time, but Cam goes and finds pictures of us when we were kids, not looking at our best. And Cam posted on there for all our viewers to see. So Cam puts in the work after hours. Check the boy out. But hell of a podcast, Cam. And for all our listeners out there, and I want to take me up on it. Please do, so I know you're listening this far. If you made it this far, I owe you a beer. I have a case of Bud Light. I don't drink Bud Light. I have a case of Bud Light at home. That's old. I'll give you one of those.
That's all we have for the day, folks. Peace.
Great podcast, baby.